So welcome to my session. As you can see, I will be talking a lot about optimization and about arachnophobia and selector connector phobia. When you want to do something, what do you think is fast enough? What users will be happy with is about 300 to 400 milliseconds, because that's the speed of eye blink. And when you click a button, blink your eyes and see the invoice, that's perfectly okay. When you only care about the result but don't need the intermediate data, that's a good reason to use server-side script. So we were hoping that when we optimize this, when we offload this task, creating a document or closing a document that was similar task on server, that we will make it faster. We have a document like invoice, and closing document in our case is an operation basically that's saying this is the final invoice, I'm not going to make any changes, this is how it's going to be. And then we go through it and generate related data in different tables, create receivable in another table. So that's what's happening behind the scenes. We don't need to see that on the client side, we just need the changes in the different tables to happen. When we measured the original speed, when we were closing an invoice with one item, it was taking around 3 seconds. And when we were closing invoice with 6 items, it was taking 15 seconds again. So we wanted to offload that part to server. So we tried that, and guess what? We got it even slower when using perform script on server. So what happens when you perform script on server from client? In the beginning, you need to perform the script step, which is called perform script on server. That tells the server, run this script. But FileMaker server, before it runs the script, it needs to open the file as a new session, and then it can run the script. Trying to perform script on the server in a very simple new empty database was taking just a few milliseconds. But when I tried that in our solution, and I just did perform script on server running empty script, it took 8 seconds. I discovered that under the hood, what happens when I run a perform script on server in our solution, that perform script on server is at the top here, and the last line here is actually the point when the server-side script starts running. Everything between is the overhead of FileMaker server scripting engine opening the new session. And if you look at it, most of the time is spent in a block of something that in the top call statistics, this is imported from top call statistics from the server, most of the time is spent in something called download with log table. The interesting thing is, within these 6 seconds here, only 200 milliseconds were actually spent by the server handling the requests. Everything else is time that was spent by the FileMaker scripting engine as a client setting up the session. In this moment, the client, which was FileMaker scripting engine, was asking server, give me information about the file's data structure. And it was processing that information it got from the server. What I learned from Clay Michael at FileMaker DevCon is that during this part of the process of opening file, what happens is that FileMaker client builds so-called master map of table occurrences. That's a data structure inside FileMaker Pro, inside the Draco engine, which the database engine needs to keep in order to know which tables are related together, which tables are needed for cascading delete when you delete record and that needs deletion elsewhere. And even more interesting thing is that this master map of table occurrences is one for all open files. So if you have 20 open files, the data structure from all of them, is stored in a single master map of table occurrences. Just removing 3 relationships, we cut the perform script on server down to half. Now we were facing a challenge. We had a solution with spider structure with about 1,000 table occurrences in single table occurrence groups. And as you can imagine, when you try to change table structure, you will break almost everything. Scripts will stop work, layouts will stop work. There are a lot of dependencies on the structure which you have to fix when you do that. So that was a big challenge. And doing this was actually our bravest transformation project ever we have made since starting to work with FileMaker. And we were able to do it in 2 months on that size of solution. And the bonus we got, or the bonus I got for you, is that I actually did end up having the same solution in 2 versions, where the only difference was the data structure. We made the perform script on server 3.5 times faster. I believe we can call it a success, right? Agree? And because we did have this great test data, we had the same solution with Spider and with Anchor-Buoy. It was a great opportunity for me to take a look at selector connector as well. And we discovered that we were immediately back at the original speed. So the conclusion, beware spiders. That's why I call the session Arachnophobia can improve performance. Because if you are arachnophobic, you have the best base to be a good FileMaker developer. Because if you don't like spiders, you will probably avoid them. That's a good thing. And think well before using selector connector. Actually, this is a general rule. Before using any technique, think and know how that technique will affect your solution from the performance perspective, from security perspective, whatever is important for your customers. You have to know and you have to think and make good decisions. That's a general rule. And the other discovery is that actually it is possible to convert a solution with a big spider to Anchor-Buoy in a more efficient way than rewriting it from scratch. We have done it in 2 months in our case. So we are also ready to help you if you need to do that. So if you want to go through the same conversion but don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, you can turn to us and we can help you. We do provide optimization services in general, and we can, as part of the optimization services, we can also do conversion from Spider to Anchor-Buoy. That's all for now. I would like to thank you for watching this video to the end, and because I value your time you have spent watching it, let me give you 30 minutes of my time in return. Just use this link and schedule one free 30-minute consultation. I look forward to talking to you.